Anaheim, California, February 13, Ryan Getzlaf. Photo by Debora Robinson, NHLI via Getty Images. During their game against the Vancouver Canucks, the Anaheim Ducks finally broke their third losing streak of the season. With a season record of 2-2-2-6-9, most of Ducks Nation is relieved that there are only 25 games left before the 25th anniversary ends. There is no denying that this season has been difficult for Anaheim Ducks fans. For the first time in 8 seasons, the Ducks are in a position where the door to the playoffs has likely closed. Only 6 points separate them from the Ottawa Senators, who are currently last in the league. Over the past 57 games, the Anaheim Ducks organization has sent us on an emotional roller coaster. We've had to suffer through 3 separate extended losing streaks. Although most of us have embraced the tank, it doesn't make it any less difficult to watch. We've also suffered through another season with Randy Carlyle behind the bench. To be honest, he should not have been allowed to return as Anaheim's coach after they were swept by the San Jose Sharks in the first round of the 2018 playoffs, but Bob Murray let his pride get in the way. Although he has finally put his foot down, it doesn't allow enough time for the Ducks to salvage the 2018-19 season. Currently, the trade deadline still looms on the horizon. However, many fans are already anxiously awaiting the off-season. With the current state of the team, it is completely understandable. A lot of exciting things are bound to happen for the Anaheim Ducks when the current season ends. Page 2 Vancouver, BC, January 4, Jack Hughes. Photo by Kevin Light, Getty Images. Although it is never fun to watch the team you support have an awful season, there are benefits at the end of the season that could come in the form of a high-end prospect in the draft. This year, the coveted draftee predicted to be drafted first overall is 17-year-old Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes, U.S. National U18 Team, USDP. Hughes is the type of player who would alter the Anaheim Ducks franchise drastically. If they're aiming to actually move towards a more speed-driven style of hockey next season, he would be a monumental leap in the right direction. He has the ability to drive the tempo of a game, not only because he is swift but because of his quick wit and playmaking ability. However, at this point, Hughes is not a guarantee for the Ducks. While the Anaheim Ducks' changes of drafting him Hughes grows with every loss, the draft lottery must take place. If the Ducks do not win the draft lottery, they will lose out on the first pick. The good news is, there are still many fantastic prospects projected to be drafted early in the first round. Kirby Dach, WHL, Saskatoon Blades. The 18-year-old Canadian-born center is another prospect the Ducks might want to keep their eye on. He has been compared to both Ryan Getzlaf and Joe Thornton as far as the style of hockey he plays. Dach has an offensive prowess that has helped him to become a dominating force in the WHL, posting 57 points, 21 grams, 36 in 50 games. He is sometimes criticized for not being overly flashy, but don't let that one downfall fool you. He has great vision when he is on the ice, something the Anaheim Ducks have seemed to lack the past 2 seasons. He is said to be a great playmaker and, although he is big-bodied, standing at an unarming 6 feet 4 inches, he has soft hands. Dach is top-end talent and will be a great asset to whatever team snags him in the draft this year. Kaapo Kakko, Liiga, TSP. Kakko is currently competing with Hughes for the first overall pick. While Hughes is the favorite, the 18-year-old Finnish prospect isn't far behind. Kakko is quick-witted, which gives him the advantage over his opponents. Always at least one step ahead, he adds electricity and an offensive flair when he is on the ice. While only 18, he has shown the hockey world that he has the maturity to play at a higher level. Liiga is one of the most competitive leagues in Finland and Kakko's team TPS is one of the most successful. What most people don't realize is that LIGA is not a junior league. The men who play are anywhere from 18 to their early 40s. He was 5th in points this season, with 24, 12 grams, 12 8, in 33 games. The fact that he has the ability to keep up in a league like that, and be one of the top point producers at such a young age, is further proof that he could potentially be NHL ready for whatever team is lucky enough to draft him in June. Cole Caulfield, U.S. National U18 Team, USDP. We all know that hockey is in a constant state of evolution. When drafting players, coaches no longer prioritize size and focus more on speed and skill. That's good news for Cole Caulfield, who stands at 5 feet 7 inches. Although his stature is shorter than the average NHL player, he doesn't allow that to hinder him. The 17-year-old is one phenomenal player. On the same team as Jack Hughes, he has spent the season playing right wing alongside the projected first overall draft pick. While some might say that could hurt Caulfield's chances because he's bound to be overshadowed by all of the hype surrounding Hughes, that doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, Hughes has nothing but good things to say about his line mate. In an article posted on NHL.com, he was quoted as saying, "He's probably the purest scorer of this draft class. It's not like he overpowers goalies with his shot, it's that he has a knack for scoring, so it's really easy to play with a guy like that. You put it on his stick and it usually ends up in the back of the net, so no complaints playing with him." Jack Hughes, although underwhelming in size, Caulfield has an overabundance of talent that would suit the Anaheim Ducks. He is projected to be drafted around 15th or 16th overall, but in the wise words of Pucks of a Feather site expert, Chris Bushell, you choose the player you want and who fits your team best, even if the consensus is to draft someone ranked higher. Cole is a laser with the puck and he uses his biggest disadvantage, his height, to his advantage. His shorter stature allows him to be a little more sneaky, which becomes a major disadvantage for his opponents. He has a nose for the net, with 55 points, 36 grams, 19 8, in 42 games, and has an offensive touch that will make him a coveted draft prospect in the first round. Next, Stop Freakin' Hire Aikens, page 3 VNCOUVER, BC, October 11th. Head coach Dallas Aikens of the Edmonton Oilers looks on from the bench during their NHL game against the Vancouver Canucks at Rogers Arena, October 11, 2014 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Vancouver won 5-4 in a shootout. Photo by Jeff Finnick, NHLI via Getty Images. Since the Anaheim Ducks were swept by the San Jose Sharks in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs last year, we all knew Randy Carlyle was no longer the right coach for this team. Nevertheless, Bob Murray didn't think it was the right time to part ways with Carlyle just yet. While I give Murray the benefit of the doubt, Carlyle did have to coach a team that was very injury-prone last season. There comes a point where you have to say enough is enough. After almost another full season with RC behind the bench, and 3 losing streaks later, Carlyle was relieved of his duties. Stepping in as interim head coach was none other than the Anaheim Ducks general manager, Bob Murray. His team won their first game with him behind the bench, but the sample size is so small, whether he is a good coach or not remains to be seen. Regardless, no matter how Murray is coaching this team for the rest of the season, the Ducks are guaranteed to get a new coach in the off-season. With Bob Murray stepping in as the new head coach, one can only assume it is because the Anaheim Ducks organization doesn't want to pull Dallas Aikens away from the San Diego Gulls when they have a pretty good chance at making a run for the Calder Cup. While many criticize him for his time behind the bench with the Edmonton Oilers, he wasn't left with much to work with. I'm not sure even a miracle worker could have saved the Oilers back then. The team goes through struggles and unfortunately it resulted in Aikens losing his job. Aikens is a fantastic candidate, as he has done wonders for the Ducklings down in San Diego. Look at Troy Terry for example. With the Ducks transitioning their younger players into NHL roles next season, having a familiar face behind the bench would help out not only the kids but the veterans as well. If for some reason the Anaheim Ducks do go in a different direction, there are plenty of eligible and qualified candidates for the position. Rickard Granborg has made it known that he wants to transition to the NHL after his contract with Team Sweden expires. He has experience coaching players like Hampus Lindholm and Rickard Rakell. Sheldon Keefe is another fantastic candidate. Regardless of who becomes the new head coach of the Anaheim Ducks, one thing is for sure. With a new head coach comes a new system that is more than likely up to speed with the rest of the NHL. The Ducks are going to look a lot different next season, and it's going to be in large part to the new bench boss. Next, back-to-back wins for Team Sweden. Page 4. Use your arrows to browse Copenhagen, Denmark, May 15, 2018. Sweden's Hampus Lindholm, goalie Anders Nielsen, LR front, and Russia's Nikita Gusev back in action in their 2018 IIHF World Championship preliminary round Group A ice hockey match at Royal Arena. Alexander Demianchuk TASS. Photo by Alexander Demianchuk TASS via Getty Images. One of the only redeeming factors of the Anaheim Ducks Series 1 sweep last season was the fact that Hampus Lindholm and Rickard Rakell went on to win the gold medal at the IIHF World Championship in Denmark. While it is way too early for the rosters to be released, one can only assume that both Lindholm and Rakell would be invited back to join Team Sweden this year after their incredible win in 2018. Although a gold medal win at the IIHF Worlds is not a Stanley Cup, watching the two Swedes win another gold would be a wonderful off-season treat for Ducks Nation. Not only would we get to see current Anaheim Ducks compete, but we would also get to cheer for players we don't normally have the privilege of doing so. Plus, we would also get to discover new talent we may not have seen play before. The IIHF Worlds may not be as hyped up as the Olympics, but all of the IIHF tournaments have become something a lot of hockey fans look forward to. It is a chance to watch the younger prospects or current NHLers take pride in representing their home countries on the ice. Who knows which familiar faces we could see in Slovakia come May. It is certainly going to be a fun off-season even to witness. Next, the annual rookie tournament. Use your arrows to browse